Welcome, Impactful Parents. It's time for the Impactful Parenting Podcast, where I give you parenting tips and resources to make you a more impactful parent to your school-age child. I am your host, Kristina Campos. Put the kids first is what everyone says when we're going through a divorce. But what about everything else? I've been divorced, and it not only sucks, but it's scary and it's stressful and it's embarrassing. And divorce can feel overwhelming. And then you throw kids into the mix and your stress levels skyrocket. You can barely hold yourself together. And now you have to think about the well-being of the kids too. It's a lot. Hello, my name is Kristina Campos. I'm founder of The Impactful Parent, and every week I give you parenting videos to help you in your parenting journey. If you have a particular topic or parenting question about your school-age child that you would like for me to address, please submit it at theimpactfulparent@gmail.com or by messaging me on social media, and all submissions are kept anonymous. Now, this is part 2 of the Impactful Parent Divorce series. In part 1, I gave you 10 pieces of advice that were surveyed by several of my own divorced friends and relatives. Check that out if you haven't seen it. It's inside the Impactful Parent app. But today, I'm going to give you my top 10 pieces of advice I wish I had known during my divorce. Yeah, I was married for 13 years. All 4 of my children are from my ex-husband. And I met him when I was 18 years old. And we were married when I was about 24. Not every year of my 13-year marriage was a fairy tale, but I was pretty happy for most of my marriage. Happy as a peach. Sometime between my 37th and 38th birthday, things just fell apart. I was completely heartbroken. I was so out of my mind with sadness that I could barely function, let alone take care of my children. But somehow I found a way, just as most parents do. And I could hardly think straight during these emotional times. And I wish I had someone to advise and lead me in the right direction. But unfortunately for me, I am one of the only divorced people in my family, and my friend group at the time, they were all very happily married people. If you can relate to a similar feeling and situation, then this episode is for you. Because today, I'm giving you my top 10 pieces of advice I wish I had when I was newly divorced. So let's get started. Newly divorced advice number 1. Prepare yourself to eat shit. Call it taking the high road or doing what is best for the children. Still, either way, this usually means feeling like you are the one that is always compromising, always giving in, always holding your tongue, and basically eating shit. You see, doing what is best for the children and taking the high road looks like this. Not talking badly about your ex, even when they have told your children lies and they're openly talking crap about you. It means spending many nights alone and missing special events because your ex has the kids. Sometimes it means keeping the kids longer and canceling your plans and being held on home arrest because the ex can't take them, even though they said that they would. This often means talking to your ex and communicating well with them, even though you never want to speak to them again. And in the beginning, sometimes this means getting out of bed, making 3 meals a day, taking the kids for a walk, and exercising, even though all you want to do is bury your head in the bed pillows. The beginning is tough. I'm not going to sugarcoat this at all. To make matters worse, it is difficult to feel confident and empowered when you constantly feel like you are the one compromising. You are the one losing out, and you are the one getting the short end of the stick. But here's an extra tip. Be wary of friends and family who try to build you up by putting your ex down. This isn't going to be helpful in the long run. It will just make you even more bitter and vengeful. Instead, take comfort in knowing that if you feel like you are the one eating shit all the time, you're probably doing what is best for your kids. And maybe it's not what's best for you, but it's what's best for them. And to that I say, good job, because it's not easy. Newly divorced advice number 2. You have to forgive or at least make peace with it. Now, forgiveness does not mean condoning your ex's behaviors or saying that the divorce is okay. Forgiveness is for yourself, not for them. The sooner you can accept your new reality, the sooner that you can move forward and leave that past you behind. At least making peace with what happened and how you got here will be really important. And even better if you can do this with your ex through mediation or counseling, resolving what happened to yourself. It's so important because holding on to hurt feelings will only make you bitter and vengeful. And neither of these is good for your kids. Newly divorced advice number 3. You just lost control, so let it go. You've heard it before from your own divorced friends. They will say things like, I can't believe the ex is letting the kids stay up past 10 p.m. Or I hate how my ex handles things when my daughter is hurt. I think exes will always complain about how the other is doing things. But the truth is, you don't have any control over what happens to the kids when they are on your ex's time. So don't sweat the small stuff and let it go. Remember, you can only control what is happening in your home. So instead of trying to micromanage your ex's parenting, which is impossible now, get hyper-focused on being the best parent you can be for your child. And then don't sweat the small stuff. After divorce, it is easy, so easy to get caught up in minor disagreements and conflicts. So remember, not everything is worth fighting for. Choose your battles wisely and focus on the big picture, which really is your child's well-being. Newly divorced advice number 4. Your kids are not the mailman or the messenger. Don't put your kids in the middle. It's essential to avoid putting your kids in the middle of any kind of conflict between you and your ex-partner. Children should not be used as messengers or spies. They should not be forced to take sides or choose between parents. Doing so can cause emotional distress and damage the child's relationship with actually both of you. I get it. The last thing you want to do is talk to your ex about anything at all. But just because you loathe having a dialogue with them doesn't mean that you should hand off that responsibility to your kids. And this brings me to advice number 5. Newly divorced advice number 5, figure out the best way to communicate with your ex. You are stuck with this person for basically the rest of your life. Even after your kids are 18, there will be future weddings and celebrations where you will see your ex again. So figure out how to communicate with them now so that you don't become one of those couples that refuses to be in the same room. Again, this only hurts your children. Find a mediator. A mediator can help you discuss those big issues with the ex so that things don't get overheated. And use parenting apps to communicate schedules and drop-offs and pickups and everything logistical about the children. And the great thing about parenting apps for the divorced parents is that everything is documented and it keeps all those communication logs. And this allows you to refer back to past conversations or even use those conversations to settle arguments if you have an ex who says one thing and then does another. So set hurt and anger aside and figure out how to co-parent. The beginning of this journey starts with finding an excellent way to communicate. Newly divorced advice number 6. Cry, kick, and scream right now. Yep. Stuffing down emotions is only temporary, and eventually all that anger, frustration, embarrassment, sadness, fear, all the emotions you'll have inside of you, they're going to surface. So allow yourself to grieve the loss of your marriage. Seek support from friends and family, even better, a therapist, to help you process those feelings, because allowing yourself to feel is actually the quickest way to happiness, to go through that sadness. There's no other shortcuts. It's not easy, but do it so it doesn't haunt you later. It'll be so much easier to move on. So you really feel all the feelings, even though it sucks. Get help and get through it. Newly divorced advice number 7. Routine will be your saving grace. Figure out a routine for each day and stick with it. When you feel like you can't get out of bed, the routine will give you purpose and something that you have to do. A routine also provides predictability and security for our children when everything feels so unhinged right now for them. So create consistency for your child. It will reduce their anxiety and stress that are caused by this divorce. And routine can also reduce how much pressure and planning and just things that you have to think about. This was especially helpful when I felt like I couldn't even find my car keys most days. And lastly, the routine will reduce your child's urges to act out. Your children are stressed and uncertain, so you can't eliminate all unwanted behaviors. There are going to be things that happen. But still, you can reduce naughty behaviors by giving your child a predictable schedule that allows them to go on autopilot during this turbulent time. And that's sometimes what we need to do to get through things. Newly divorced advice number 8. The kids are watching, so be careful. Kids see everything. Here's your opportunity to be a positive role model. Remember that the kids are unhinged right now, and so they don't know how to feel, and they really don't know how to behave. Children will silently look to their parents for guidance. You teach your kids a lot in this process, even if you don't realize it, or even if you don't want to, because they're watching. So here are some of the things that you're actually role modeling. How to deal with people who you don't get along with. How to handle a breakup. How to recover and get back on your feet after a breakup. What to say and do when you're full of emotions. The best way to move on and cope with sadness or fear or anger. How to move on. How to forgive. And there are so many more lessons that you're teaching them through your role modeling, just them observing you day-to-day life as you go through this divorce. So take this role modeling seriously and be careful about everything that you say and do in front of your kids. Newly divorced advice number 9. Create new traditions. Consider how you want your weekly routine to look and what new traditions you want to implement for special holidays. Is there anything that you want to implement into your family life that you never did before because your ex wasn't on board? Well, now it's time. Creating family traditions helps children adjust to the new family dynamic and provides a sense of continuity and stability. It shows kids that life continues and unique activities that unite families remain important. For example, you can start a new tradition of going to the park every Saturday or having a family game night every Friday or whatever it might look like for you. But whatever your new tradition is, begin implementing those now. And newly divorced advice number 10. Prioritize yourself. The bottom line is you can't take care of your kids when you're tired and you're stressed and you're run down. And this is not the best version of yourself. So to be a good parent, you need to prioritize yourself. You need a full cup to pour your kids your love and your energy. You do not need to prioritize yourself all day, but it does mean that you need to prioritize yourself sometime during the day. Laying in bed and resting may be all you want to do, but still, hopefully, you know when that inner voice is telling you to get up because you have been lying horizontally for way too long. For me, prioritizing myself looked like getting 8 hours of sleep, exercising 3 times a week, talking on the phone with my bestie at least once a week, slipping out of my yoga pants and actually getting into some jeans to lift my spirits every once in a while. Now, these all made me release anger and sadness and frustration, or make me forget about my situation for a little while and feel like myself again for just a few hours. Whatever your self-care looks like, start your regimen now. Do it to be a better parent. Do it because the kids are watching. They need to see their parent prioritize health and wellness so that they'll do the same thing. Because divorce is tough. But you can do this. Prioritize your child's well-being and work with your ex to make transitions as smooth as possible. Following these tips can help your child adjust to the new family dynamic and ensure they continue feeling loved and supported. If this information was valuable for you today, become a more impactful parent by downloading the Impactful Parent app. The Impactful Parent app is free and full of episodes just like this one to help you in your parenting journey. Because investing in your family looks like learning the warning signs of certain behaviors so you could stop the bad things before they start, and discovering new parenting techniques to make your parenting more effective. All of this, plus so much more, can be found inside the Impactful Parent app. So download it today. You got nothing to lose. It's a free parenting resource. So go to theimpactfulparent.com or your app store on your phone and discover how you can step up your parenting game and become a more impactful parent. But until next time, you got this. I'm just here to help. Thank you for listening today. Remember to subscribe and share this podcast with a friend. And don't forget, the Impactful Parenting Podcast is an extension of the Impactful Parent community. Go to the Impactful Parent website and download the free Impactful Parent app so you don't miss a parenting tip that can help you and your family. Thanks for listening today. So go to theimpactfulparent.com and see you next episode.